Kimmi Scott has always been one of the most genuine and grounded people in reality television. From the very beginning, she stood out not because she was loud or dramatic, but because she carried herself with calmness, respect, and grace. On Love and Marriage Huntsville, where so many moments are filled with arguments, rumors, and emotional chaos, Kimmi brought something different. She was a reminder that real strength doesn't always mean being the loudest voice in the room. Sometimes it means being the calm one, the steady one, the one who holds her family together even when everything else seems to fall apart. For a long time, Kimmi was known as the peacemaker, the one who tried to find balance between friendship, family, and fame. She never chased drama just to stay relevant. She didn't pick fights or create fake storylines to get attention. Instead, she focused on her life, her marriage, and her role as a mother and stepmother. Fans loved her for that. She was real. She was relatable. And that's what made the news of her health battle so heartbreaking to so many people who admired her. When people first started noticing little changes in Kimmi, it wasn't dramatic. She might have looked a bit tired, her energy slightly different, but no one wanted to assume the worst. Social media was filled with quiet concern. People asked if she was okay, hoping it was just stress or exhaustion. But when the truth finally came out, it hit everyone hard. Kimmi Scott, the woman who had been everyone's symbol of strength and balance, was fighting one of the hardest battles of her life, a health battle that she had kept private for as long as she could. She didn't come out with the big production or try to make her situation into a storyline. She spoke honestly and simply. She shared that she was dealing with something serious, something that would change her life and her family's life. And even though she was scared, she faced it with the kind of courage that touched everyone who heard her speak. Kimmi's story isn't just about her being a television personality. It's about what happens when real life collides with fame. Behind the cameras, behind the lights, she was a wife, a mother, a friend, and a registered nurse, someone who had spent her entire life taking care of others. And now, she was the one who needed care, support, and understanding. For someone like Kimmi, who had always been strong for everyone else, learning to receive help was not easy, but she did it with humility and grace. While many people in the world of reality TV might turn every situation into attention or gossip, Kimmi chose to stay private until she was ready. She protected her family, her peace, and her dignity. She wanted to make sure her husband and son had the time and space to process everything before she shared it with the world. That decision showed just how thoughtful and selfless she truly is. She didn't want sympathy. She wanted understanding. She didn't want people to see her as weak. She wanted them to see that strength can exist even in moments of fear. When Kimmi finally spoke openly about what she was going through, her honesty broke through the noise of television drama. There was no acting, no pretending that everything was fine. She admitted that she was scared, that she didn't know what the future looked like. And that truth, that simple, raw truth, connected her to millions of people. Fans from all over the world began sending love, prayers, and support. People who had fought their own health battles shared how her courage gave them hope. Her story became bigger than the show. It became a message about life, resilience, and the power of love. Maurice Scott, Kimmi's husband, has always been known as a hard-working man, someone focused on his career and providing for his family. But when Kimmi's battle began, everything shifted. The man people saw on television became a husband who stood quietly but firmly beside his wife through every difficult day. Behind the scenes, he cut back on his work commitments and focused on being present at home. Their house, once filled with laughter and daily routine, became a place of healing and prayer. Every small victory, every good day became something to celebrate. Every hard day became a reminder of how much they loved each other. For their son, this journey was life-changing. Watching his mother go through something so painful at such a young age taught him lessons that no classroom could ever teach. He saw what strength really looks like. He saw that even when his mom was tired, even when she didn't feel her best, she still smiled, still encouraged him, and still made sure he felt loved. For a child, that kind of resilience becomes a lifelong memory. It shapes how you see love, how you see family, and how you see courage. The rest of the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville also felt the impact of Kimmi's revelation. Suddenly, all the small arguments, the tension, and the constant conflict seemed unimportant. Everyone realized that real life is much bigger than television. Marcel Scott and Letitia Scott, who often found themselves caught up in their own storylines, put aside their differences and reached out with compassion. Melody Shari, who had been through her own public struggles, also showed support. Even Martell Holt, who was usually surrounded by controversy, expressed sympathy and respect. It was as if Kimmi's truth reminded everyone that at the end of the day, they are all human beings first. Even the production team behind the show had to pause and reflect. Reality television often thrives on drama, but Kimmi's story was not something that could be used for entertainment. It was real, it was raw, and it was sacred. Producers had to think carefully about how to handle her scenes, how to respect her privacy, and how to allow her story to unfold naturally without crossing any lines. Because this wasn't just content, this was her life. Fans noticed that shift too. Online conversations began to change. Instead of debating who was right or wrong in a feud, people were sharing prayers and encouragement. They were talking about how Kimmi's openness had inspired them to schedule their own medical checkups, to take better care of themselves, to call their loved ones more often. That's the kind of impact she had. Her story became a lesson in empathy. As the months went by, Kimmi continued to show the world what true strength looks like. Some days she looked tired. Some days she looked radiant. But every day she looked brave. She showed that you can live fully even while facing something uncertain. She kept showing up, not because she had to, but because she wanted to remind others that life doesn't stop when things get hard. It just changes, and we have to learn how to walk through it one day at a time. Maurice often shared how this season of their lives brought them closer. They learned to appreciate the little things: morning coffee together, quiet moments on the couch, family dinners where laughter still found its way through the worry. They started to talk more openly about their feelings, about faith, and what really matters. In many ways, this challenge strengthened their bond in ways nothing else could have. For Kimmi, her journey also became a mission. She began to use her platform to spread awareness about the importance of early detection and taking care of your health. As a nurse, she already understood how critical that was, but now she was living proof of how much difference it can make. She encouraged fans not to ignore their symptoms, not to delay appointments, and not to take life for granted. She became more than a reality TV personality. She became a voice of truth and hope. What makes Kimmi's story so powerful is that she never pretended to have it all figured out. She admitted her fears. She admitted that there were days when she didn't feel strong. But she also showed that being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak. It means being real. It means trusting that even when things are hard, there's still a reason to keep moving forward. Her story reminds everyone watching that life is unpredictable. You can be doing everything right, taking care of your family, working hard, living with integrity, and still face something that shakes your entire world. But what defines you is not the challenge itself, but how you respond to it. And Kimmi's response has been nothing short of inspiring. There were moments when fans saw her sitting quietly, speaking softly, but with the kind of strength that filled the room. She didn't need to shout to make an impact. Her calm presence said more than words ever could. She showed that grace is not about being perfect. It's about being kind, even when you're hurting. The show Love and Marriage Huntsville has changed because of her. It's no longer just about drama or arguments. It's about real people, real emotions, and real growth. Kimmi's presence reminded everyone, cast, crew, and viewers, that television might show the highlights, but life happens in the quiet moments, in the hospital visits, in the family hugs, and in the courage to keep smiling even when you want to cry. Fans often say that Kimmi's story made them reevaluate their own priorities. Some began calling their parents more often. Others started focusing on self-care or spending more time with their children. That's the ripple effect of authenticity. When one person chooses honesty over perfection, it gives others permission to do the same. And through all of this, Kimmi never stopped being herself. She still laughed when she could. She still encouraged others. She still took time to enjoy the good days. That's what resilience looks like. Not pretending everything is fine, but finding joy in small things, even when you're uncertain about tomorrow. Maurice once shared that they learned to take life one step at a time. Instead of planning too far ahead, they focused on the moment they were in. They learned that love isn't just about the happy times, it's about standing together when things are heavy, when you're scared, and when you have no idea what's next. That kind of love is real. That kind of love lasts. For Kimmi, this battle has become not just a personal test, but a public testimony. She has inspired thousands of people to see strength in softness, power in patience, and beauty in honesty. She showed that being on reality TV doesn't mean you have to be fake. You can be real, and in doing so, you can change lives. As time goes on, fans continue to support her with unwavering love. They celebrate her victories and pray through her struggles. They've become more than an audience. They've become a community united by compassion. And that's the legacy Kimmi is creating, not just fame, but impact. So when people look back at Love and Marriage Huntsville years from now, they won't just remember the drama. They'll remember Kimmi Scott, the woman who faced her hardest season with courage, love, and grace. The woman who taught everyone watching that strength isn't about never falling, it's about standing up every time you do. The woman who showed that even in pain, there can still be purpose. Her journey continues, and whatever the next chapter looks like, one thing is certain. Kimmi Scott has already changed how people see strength, love, and resilience. She has reminded the world that behind every reality star is a real person, with real emotions, real struggles, and real courage. And that kind of authenticity will always shine brighter than any spotlight. When fans think of Kimmi now, they don't think of gossip or drama. They think of inspiration. They think of hope. They think of a woman who walked through the storm and still found her light. And maybe that's the greatest message of all, that no matter what life throws your way, you can face it with grace, faith, and love.